Before starting my usual tangent, y'all don't even let anybody have a damn decent conversation. Y'all are over here. What's up? Where are you guys? Yeah, we're back. Obviously,
we are a little late, you know.
Yeah, we are a little bit late, but we were talking in the background, obviously. But your favorite Compas have another jam-packed episode of Lunes Live. Hilberto and I will give you our takeaways from this past weekend slate of preseason games, which includes Chargers, Rams, and Raiders. Plus, we will go over the performances from all the quarterbacks from the rookie class. We will also have the latest news from in the combat sports world. Obviously, Virgil Ortiz fought over the weekend. Gilbert, was there a little bit of controversy in that? Oscar De La Hoya says there isn't, but we'll get into that. Time permitting, we'll have Vic, the producer, join us to do a little NFL crossfire. And just to let you guys know, as of right now, we'll just start it off now. There will be no Dan and Dago today. He is busy, so unfortunately, no Dan and Dago. So I'm just getting that out of the way. But all right, Hilberto, do you have a question, an engagement question for our viewers and or listeners?
I do, but I gotta say, Dan has really become a diva. Like, he thinks he's Roman Reigns, where he just earns 4 months off and then comes back whenever SummerSlam, or for us, the big event is that Carne Asada football preview, which is gonna come soon in a couple of weeks. Maybe he makes an appearance for that, but I guess we're all waiting for Dan Dago because it's on his time whenever he wants to show up to work. But
it's okay. Even hard for What's Up Bolts. Like, it's hard to get.
I know you guys aren't doing preseason conversations like Victor and myself have, because that was such a great game between the Rams and the Cowboys.
You guys did something after that? I didn't do
until the end. But and I know a lot of people here want to discuss Stetson Bennett, Easton Stick. I don't know why. I get it. They're LA quarterbacks or backup quarterbacks. But to the point here, the engagement question of the week is talked about high-profile quarterbacks, first-round quarterbacks, and I see my Wi-Fi is down. Let me know if I'm okay. I hate it. I hate this crap. But Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix all had debuts in its preseason, so we could pump the brakes a little bit. But hey, so far they passed the test. But who was more impressive to you? Let me know in the comments. And what the hell, throw in Stetson Bennett and Easton Stick if you want.
I have complaints about all of those quarterbacks, but we'll get into that when we jump at Gilbert's like, what, already? Yes, but we'll get into that. All right, let's go with the intro.
Compas on the beat. Let's get it. Let's go.
Yeah. So where's Compas?
Yeah, there you
go.
There you go. Okay, all right. We got proof right there.
Some guy that seems like he's asleep. Need you to wake up, Gilbert. There's a lot of energy.
Come on, Gilbert. Let's go.
Come on. Dan and Dago is at Moe's.
I'll show you. I'll show you. I got it right.
Okay, that's it. You guys, I am done with mine, but that's couldn't get better than a 2026 6th-round pick swap for a 7th-rounder. So
freaking love you, Chad.
Hey, dude. Cool, man.
Compas on the beat, man. Derwin James signing off, man. Watch Compas on the beat, man.
Ooh, welcome to Compas on the Beat. I'm Fernando Ramirez. I cover the Chargers for the Sporting Tribune. With me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Gilbert Manzano. He covers the NFL for Sports Illustrated. What's up, bro?
What's up, Fernando? We are in the dog days of the summer. It's a little hot in here, and at least in my room here. But actually, this is a good segue. I don't think I'm trying to stall here, but a good segue. I did see you in Oxnard for Cowboys Rams joint scrimmage, and the weather was so nice there that maybe we should move up to Oxnard, or maybe not.
No, I actually was considering it. I mean, every other day we've gone to Rams.
What?
We've gone to Chargers.
What?
Saints.
What?
Raiders.
What?
Each one of those, it was hot, very hot, extremely hot. Cowboys, it was beautiful, nice, beautiful weather. It was nice. I mean, I put all my sunscreens on. I did everything. I didn't really, I mean, I needed it, but I didn't need it. It was a comfortable, no, you didn't. It was a comfortable, day. So, definitely. It's been interesting to see all the different training camps where we've been at. So, but yeah, Gilbert, like you said, it was definitely an interesting practice. It's crazy because just to give you guys a little bit of insight, I know most of you guys probably hate the Cowboys, but at their practice, there's 2 fields. There's people over in houses, like in their balconies, just watching practice. And then you have Jerry Jones on a tower looking down at both fields with like a camera crew. And then the funniest part is after practice, the players just walk off and you're like, you can go grab anybody. And it's like, oh, wow. Like, I was watching Ezekiel Elliott try and take off his pads. He said he was kind of hot. Well, I'm
it's a
like,
little weird. You sound a little strange watching Zeke take off his pads, but okay.
Well, yeah, because I wanted to see what he was gonna say. He was like taking off his pads or whatever, and he's like, it's really hot. And I'm like, dude, you're wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt like underneath your pads. Obviously, it's gonna be hot.
Yeah, what'd you expect?
Exactly. Saw Jerry Jones and Sean McVay speaking. Was there a little bit of a hey? They shook hands. Who knows what happened? No, I'm just messing with you guys. I saw Sean McVay chatting it up with Dak Prescott, and then Jerry Jones held court. He went up and he's like, "Hey, whoever wants to hear me speak." And then I was right there in that scramble when he said, "I'm not in any hurry to get CeeDee Lamb's contract going." So definitely interesting to say the least. Now I know why the Cowboys reporters probably drink a bunch of coffee and they have so much energy, is because they know that at any moment Jerry Jones can bust like a. Okay, never mind.
Just continue if you want.
No, I was gonna talk about a former WWE. I will not go with VKM. So yeah, just you go ahead, Gilbert.
Yeah, and going to Oxnard was actually.
I hate the drive.
The drive was long, really long. I think I took longer in the car to watch a practice, which was like 2 hours and a half. It took me 2 hours and a half to get to Oxnard. But yeah, I think somebody said in the comments we look like tomatoes, and we all do have a little red on me, a little darker, and so did you, Fernando. But Oxnard was quick because they gave me news. CeeDee Lamb, no urgency apparently to get a deal with them. So cranked out the story, and I went home for 2 hours.
Look at that. That's my watch. What's it called? You can see how white I am. So
iPhone watch.
Yeah, iPhone watch. But all right, let's let me real quick. Robert, how you doing, man? Are we there yet? We are here. What's up, Angel? How are you doing? Jorge,
hello, sir. First of all, Jorge, I'm here every day. I'm doing my job, and the other guy can't be found. I'm just saying.
He put no Dan. This is bullshit. Where's Dan?
I'm telling you, you guys believe in this, high profile guy who's such a saint. He just doesn't come to work.
Senor Vivant, you speak Spanish too? Are you a man of many trades?
Well, think about it. He lives in Canada where people speak multiple languages, not like us here. We're all lazy.
Shut up. People speak here multiple languages. I speak 3 languages.
What's your third one?
French. I'm learning it right now.
Okay. All right. Here.
Oh, hey. All right. You want to challenge me? Look at that. Duolingo. Look at everything that I've done. Bang. Look at it. There's more. There's more, but I've done a lot. I'm on section 2. So I've done a lot in Duolingo. So yeah. Bonjour. I was trying to hit up our guys who were out there, Emmanuel Morgan, Tyler Dragon. Neither one of them tried to learn the language before they left. So yeah, they were not so yeah. Jorge's not happy that there's no Dan. Yeah, Farmer Stan. Un poquito amigos. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's yeah, that's awesome. Jorge says Dan is a high profile guy for a reason. Speaking of which, he does have his first scrimmage on Friday, so it's gonna be exciting to be out there. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, the posts are coming back every Friday. So make sure you guys tune in.
Hey, they better go undefeated with how hard he's working over there and not paying attention to us. Whatever,
yeah, we'll see
10-0, whatever they have, how many games they have.
We'll see about all that. All right, Gilbert. Let's go a little bit into Jeff. Oh yeah, no, for sure. Jeff Miller, the kind of guy to speak Spanish with the Compas. Jeff tries. Hey, what did he say? He told me recently he found out what bocadillos are. No, I can't remember what it is. I'll look at my text, but he said it was a delicious like Mexican sandwich, and I was like, oh, and kind of went through it. But all right, let's get into Vic, you should screenshot this. That's a great image. Let's go into rookie quarterbacks. Yeah, let's go into the rookie quarterbacks and talk a little bit about them. Obviously, there's multiple rookie quarterbacks that made their debuts over the weekend. I mean, to be honest, there's a lot of quarterbacks out there that are going into new situations. Caleb Williams. We've all seen Caleb Williams on Hard Knocks. I don't know if you guys have watched Hard Knocks yet. It is, I'll agree with Mike Florio. It is kind of it did take a little bit of a drop because obviously the because the addition, obviously, when you have the addition over with what just happened with the Giants, and you're like, oh wow, every episode is meaningful. And here they're talking about, well, Caleb Williams learning the NFL, and then they bring the announcer out and from the Chicago Bulls, and they announce Caleb Williams. It's like, really? So yeah, it's a little bit of it was a little rough to watch, but you have Caleb Williams with the Chicago Bears. Obviously, you had Keenan Allen speaking highly about him, DJ Moore, Eberflus, all these guys. Jayden Daniels is with Washington. JJ McCarthy is with the Vikings. Michael Penix Jr. That one I have some interesting stuff about. And then Bo Nix with the Denver Broncos. Gilberto, are you back?
I am trying. So okay. Let me know how terrible my frozen
You're
face
good.
was here. And I'm trying to go.
All
right, I'm gonna disappear. I'm gonna disappear one more time. But yeah, thank you, Jorge. I want to see it in a bit. But I'm gonna disappear one more time because I'm gonna go to my hotspot. I'm not gonna mess around anymore. I'm going.
All right, I'll keep us here. All right, no worries. All right, let me. All right, so obviously, while Gilbert's getting that worked out, so Caleb Williams this weekend goes up against the last weekend goes up against the Buffalo Bills. Interesting game. I mean, Caleb made one pass to Cole Kmet that I'm like, oh wow, okay, like this guy starting it off. He started off with some juice, so they're able to get 2 field goals out of it. Caleb ends up going 4 for 7, 95 yards. With some of these quarterbacks, you really don't need to see much. Like what they see from practice, they see in practice. So with Caleb, it's going to be about learning how to manage the expectations, which obviously he's a quarterback at USC. He won a national championship. So Gilbert, go ahead.
Yeah, well, first of all, I got to read some of these comments here where Fernando's saying. Take a screenshot of that. Fernando passing out because, yeah, I saw Victor producer send a nice screenshot of me frozen in the Compas text message, and I'll reenact it right now. Like that, or I don't know. But yeah, well, Fernando comes back to life here. I'll shout out to Jesse. Good to see you. I was frozen. I did make maybe a similar face to that. And Jorge, I'm glad it was lovely here for you while Fernando's dying in the background. We're having a rough start here, but hey, it's preseason for the Compas as well. And yeah, Fernando, hopefully you're okay. You're kind of getting me a little worried here. But bad Wi-Fi and coughing going on, and he's still struggling right here. So let's hope and prayer, T's and P's to Fernando that he's doing well. I'm sure you can hear this laughing and also coughing at the same time. Hopefully it's content gold here. I'm not even going to try to talk about Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix. Let's see Fernando and how long it takes him to recover. Hey, you're okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Sorry.
I got a little word for you, coach. Just see, like,
yeah, no. I just I was coughing a little bit, but I was crying. Just obviously the Caleb Williams game, I thought that pass was impressive. The one where he's leaning towards his right, he ends up throwing it to Cole Kmet. I did see something that was interesting. Obviously, it was only a small sample size, so I wouldn't judge this. But I do want to see him I want to see him stay in the pocket.
Yes,
I appreciate it, Jorge. I want to see what Caleb's going to look like in the pocket. I know he can scramble. I saw it at USC, but at USC, a lot of the protection would break down and he'd go off to his sides. So I'm thinking when he has to play a pass rush, let's just say, I don't know, like the Rams or the Chargers. Well, he doesn't play the Chargers, but like the Rams, that's one of the ones that I can think of right now. It's going to be difficult. Like he's going to have to stay in the pocket and let it rip. He can't be moving around because those edge rushers are pretty good.
Yeah, and again, there goes Fernando. And I'm not sure, Fernando, if you already made a promo, but if you're here to hear a Chargers discussion or Rams discussion, we will get to the LA team soon. We're trying to get to the. Okay, well, yeah, stay and hang tight, but let's get to the rookie quarterbacks. And
yeah, Nick, we're going to talk Chargers right now.
That was actually my thoughts on Caleb Williams. Fernando is, yeah, he's showing everything that made him the #1 pick, where you could extend plays, you could go away from the pocket, you could maybe have some awkward throws, but you find angles, you sidearm it. But when you're trying to beat Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers too soon, you might get in trouble. And we saw when things went south at USC, he forced a lot of balls, a lot of turnovers occurred. So if I'm Matt Eberflus, you're probably thinking like, I want him to tone it down, but you don't want to kill the kid's confidence. He's feeling it. It's okay to feel it in the preseason, but hopefully in the regular season, you find that balance where like it's okay to throw the ball away. It's okay to maybe, sometimes obviously you don't want to take a sack, but sometimes a sack is better than a turnover or whatever you want to get, or stay in field goal range, whatever the situation it is. You want to see that with Caleb Williams. And then the other part too, like I know I'm not trying to be negative. They were all impressive, but they were all in the preseason as well. But with Jayden Daniels, you love that he had that bomb to Brown, number 8, I think it was, for a 42-yard gain. But then you're hearing that Dan Quinn said, "Oh yeah, it was an audible. He did not have permission to have a checkout like that." And it's like, hey, you're too confident, kid. Like maybe you do that again in the regular season, and you get killed with a killer interception. But I just want to mention it's kind of that fine line where you don't want to kill their confidence either. But that's what makes them great. Jayden Daniels could extend plays, and so can Caleb Williams.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with everything that you just said. When we're talking about, let's just go right next to Drake May. Obviously didn't play, so we're not gonna.
Yeah, he barely played.
Yeah. So
let me say real quick on that on Drake May, Fernando. I don't like that JJ McCarthy is not playing because you have freaking Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and you have TJ Hawkinson. What the hell does Drake May have? They're different situations. So I do like the Gerard Mayo, who's a rookie head coach with the kind of a rookie OC, and Alex Van Pelt, who's never called plays. Situations are different, and I'm okay with being patient with Drake May. With the Vikings, I don't know why you're putting the training wheels on JJ McCarthy and you're going with Sam Darnold, but we could get into that too.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to the one I didn't watch was Jayden Daniels. That one I still haven't watched.
He only had 4 plays, but that 42-yard pass was a beautiful throw down the field. The only thing, it's funny that Dan Quinn said he went Top Gun, he went rogue. It wasn't supposed to be a checkout for him. He just said, "F it, I'm gonna do it." Hey, he has good eyes. He saw what the defense was doing and said, "You know what? Bombs away right here." He showed what he did at LSU, being accurate down the field. And he had a 3-yard rushing touchdown to end that drive, and that was about it. But so far, he came as advertised. But like, hey, you're still a rookie. Don't be trying to do audible so early.
Going back to the Caleb Williams, I mean, if you look at it, he has playmakers all over that team. DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze. You have Gerald Everett. You have Cole Kmet. So I mean, they put him in an incredible position. I think he's better served there than what Justin Herbert was when he came into the Chargers and had Mike Williams and Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler. But this guy he had Hunter Henry, but like this guy has bodies, abundant bodies. So I'm definitely impressed with that. And just real quick, we'll go. Yeah, Gilbert, why don't you answer this? Gilberto,
yeah.
Who do you think is the most impressive rookie quarterback, and who was the least impressive?
I appreciate the question, Jorge. It's tough to say least impressive, but I'll go with most impressive, and maybe it's a surprise because I've been crapping on the Vikings, but I like JJ McCarthy, and only because he had a longer kind of sample size. Caleb Williams got pulled maybe after a second series, and Jayden Daniels only had 4 plays. But JJ McCarthy had that one bad interception to Jack Jones, and then he just kind of settled down after that. Maybe sometimes a mistake will tell you, hey, he's up there. Don't be rushing throws. Don't do things like that in front of a veteran player like Jack Jones. But after that, he was showing, good movement in the pocket with his feet, going up and down the pocket and then throwing down the field. I think Justin Jefferson left that deep pass near the left sideline for a touchdown right there. Strong arm, accurate, quick thinking. He's able to see the field well. So the one thing it's really annoying for me to see with JJ McCarthy, people keep saying because he's the youngest quarterback in the draft, or like he's 21, he didn't play 6 years like Michael Penix or Bo Nix. He's not ready. You got to sit him. Forget that. He was the number 11 pick in the draft for a reason. And you have Justin Jefferson, you have Hawkinson, you have Kevin O'Connell, who's an experienced play caller. Like, I get it. People keep trying to make Sam Darnold a thing. We've seen the story. It's up and down. Maybe you get 8 wins, maybe you get 9 wins, but I'd rather get 5 wins with the rookie quarterback, and maybe you see, like with Justin Herbert, you knew right away the guy had it his rookie year. He had some ups and downs, one rookie of the year. How exciting was it to go into the second year knowing that you have a guy as a franchise quarterback? You don't want that with Sam Darnold. You want that with JJ McCarthy. Maybe to answer the question on the least impressive, again, it's tough to find one, but just to be a little picky, I like Bo Nix's confidence. He read the defense pretty well, but he rushed too many throws where it was kind of going over people's heads. Accuracy was a little off, but I like the confidence. I like the awareness, reading the defense. But so far, same thing with Bo Nix. I'd rather have Bo Nix than Jarrett Stidham.
You know what? I'm going to tell you what I think is going on with Sam Darnold is people are thinking maybe 1 year under Shanahan did what it did for Baker Mayfield a couple of years ago with Tampa Bay, where he goes with. I know he was only with Sean McVay for like 2 months, maybe, or maybe a month, but he went in there, he learned, then he comes over and he's with Canales and with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And he ends up taking off. So maybe they're thinking, hey, maybe the Vikings are thinking with Sam Darnold, he goes over to Kyle Shanahan's system. He learned, and now he's coming back into it, and he's ready to go and maybe ready to attack it. The only thing I'm thinking, and I agree with you, is that I feel like him matched up with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, those tight ends, and the whole offense. I feel like it's suited for JJ McCarthy to be able to take over and do some things. Is he going to have struggles? Yes. But what you don't want, and again, if you're going to start JJ McCarthy week 1, you cannot bench him. He can only come out if he gets hurt. You can't bench him no matter what. That kills the confidence of a rookie quarterback. We saw what it's happened before. Off the top of my head, I can't think about which quarterbacks, but we've seen it before where rookie quarterbacks get thrown in there and they get benched and they
Zach
go
Wilson
in.
comes along.
Yeah, Zach Wilson. A lot of guys, you have to go with the trials and tribulations. I mean,
even
Justin
Sam Darnold with the New York Jets, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Gilbert and I are going more off of the Justin Herbert thing because we both covered him that year and we both saw what was happening. But it would have been hard, I think. I don't know what Gilbert thinks. It would have been hard for Anthony Lynn to bench him when he said Tyrod is our starting quarterback. It would have been hard to bench him and then bring him back. Like, I'm sure he wanted to.
Who knows what would have happened if Tyrod never got
exactly. I'm going based off of after the New Orleans Saints game. Where he was still saying it was.
Yeah, when he was ready, he came back.
Yeah. There's no way you could have gone back to him. So that's what I'm going off of. But yeah, I think you kind of have to see what JJ McCarthy does. And hey, guess what? He got his bad read out of the way. He threw that pick.
Yeah.
And it kind of got out of his system, and then he started slinging it down the field, and you saw Justin Jefferson. And honestly, guys, the players are going to be the ones that tell you. Joey Bosa told me, like, watch out for 10. 10's really good. And it's like, really? Yeah, watch out for him. Watch it, and boom, look what ends up happening.
The guy had a comeback drive against Alabama in the semifinal title game. Let's not do the training wheels method for him. I get it for Drake May, who has nothing around him. We could play wide receivers for the Patriots. Brandon, you didn't want to go to New England. I get, I get that, but
$32 million, and he said no.
I know. Don't get me started on Brandon. What the hell do you want? You want to win or you want money? Because you got the money from the Patriots, and now you want to win. You can't have both, man.
Whatever. What do you want to eat? I don't know. What do you want?
What do you want?
I don't know.
Jesus, Brandon Ayuk. But
Michael Penix, I do have an issue with.
Go ahead.
He does the Tim Tebow where he starts down here, his motion. And then he comes up. Phillip Rivers would do the same thing. Phillip Rivers would start down here, then go with the sidearm in a sense. I know Phillip was able to kind of work through it, but Penix is going to need to learn. I would like, since he's in Atlanta, I'd like to see him with Michael Vick. Vick, I think when he went to the Eagles, Vick learned how to get that thing out quickly with the flick of the wrist. I remember at the beginning, Michael Vick would bring it all the way from down here and throw it. But when he was with Philly, and Andy Reid, he knew how to flick it. So I'd really like to see him over with. I'd like to see him over in maybe learn after this season and everything. But I'm telling you, I think he's in a good position there. I know that they just lost Rondell Moore. Moore?
Yeah, you got it.
So I'm interested to see how they're going to be able to rebound from that. And I know everybody was giving them crap when Rondell Moore went down. Oh, you could have had Roma Dunze. Could have had Brock Bowers, but you decided to go with Michael Penix Jr. But
yeah,
I think I'm going to be honest. I think Atlanta's going to be the one that laughs at the end of the day.
With their quarterback being the best, or just being a better team in 2024?
No, no. I think with their like them selecting that quarterback and him being the quarterback of the future.
Hey.
After this year, you could tell Kirk Cousins to kick rocks.
It worked for Jordan. It worked for Jordan Love.
I bet you, especially after what we saw with what's his name? With Russell Wilson when he got traded to the Broncos. I bet you there's going to be a desperate team out there that says, and the Seahawks didn't have a contingency plan for Russell Wilson. At least here, these guys have a plan. They know who their quarterback is going to be of the future. So maybe after 1 year, Kirk Cousins, they make it to the wild card and they get kicked out, and they win the division and get kicked out in the wild card. Maybe they're like, you know what? Kirk Cousins, we know you can't win the big game. Yeah, you have all the ice and the swag and all that crap from the quarterback, but you're not the guy that we want. Kick rocks, boom, out of there. Let's go with the Michael Penix era. So I think what the Atlanta Falcons are doing is protecting themselves for the future, and I'm actually all for it. They kind of did the reverse Washington Redskins thing where they went and they got they had RG3 and they got Kirk Cousins as insurance. So I actually commend them for doing that.
Hey, Victor, I know you're eventually going to ask us both predictions for the NFL season. I think Fernando already gave one away. It's saying Michael Penix Jr. is going to be the star from the quarterback class here and then eventually start next year. Is that what you're saying, Fernando?
I didn't say that he was going to be the star out of this class. Okay. But there's always that quarterback that nobody really talks about. I think everybody's talking about all the other ones except for him. And I think with the OC that he has there and all that, I think he'll be in a good spot. The only thing is Zach Robinson. If that team does well, they're going to start coming after Zach for head coaching gigs. So it's going to be they're going to need to try and keep him. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I do think that Michael Penix is going to be fine in Atlanta. The only thing is we need to see what Kyle Pitts is going to be. We still don't know Bijan Robinson. And then Drake London, who are you? Like, are you the kind of guy that puts up the 1,000-yard? You're kind of like a Michael Pittman, or are you more of like a guy that is just an extra guy? So that's why I think fans really wanted Rome Odunze this year because they're like, well, we have two good young receivers, but I mean, they didn't decide to go that way. But did we hit all of them?
I think so. Yeah. And well, before we move on to Chargers and Rams, Victor mentioned that we should do a promo. Check out my story on the rookie quarterbacks at si.com and check out Fernando's story on all 5 training camps in the Southern California area at the sportingtribune.com, right?
Yeah. Fans were not happy that I said that. The most exciting, like they were like, which one was the best training camp? And I'm like, well, I don't like, how the hell are you going to say which one's the best one? Yeah. The most entertaining one was the Cowboys by far. Yeah. And Jim Harbaugh's entertaining, but how can you like, how can you not be?
I can't beat the weather. Talk to the outlandish owner. Yeah. You get some news from the owner. You could just talk to all the players when they walk off. You get to record the entire practice or scrimmage. You get to join scrimmage at the same time. So I can see why you chose the Cowboys.
Yeah, and fans are very vocal. You remember that Rams fan that was there, and he's like, "Whose house?"
Oh,
and some guy goes, "Shut the."
Yeah,
he just started laughing.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah. So, and then one of my buddies who's a Cowboys fan, he's like, he texts me, he's like, "You bastard." He's like, "You had to just put in there. This is the Cowboys fans always saying this is our year." I'm like, it is. You guys do like that's your guy. Like that's your.
At least that Rams fan can talk about the Super Bowl ring in 2021, even though he was outnumbered.
Caleb Williams nails or no can play foot. Not can. Senor Vivant, can you write that one again? Just because I didn't understand that middle part, or no, not can play football.
Maybe he means like it's play on words, like he can nail playing football because he paints his nails, or he can't play football.
Okay, that's actually that. Okay, Senor Vivant, Gilbert got you. That was
nails in other ways. And
yeah. No, I feel you. Nailed or get nailed. Yeah. All right. Let's go over now to a little LA football. The Chargers. By the way, Jorge broke it down better than all of us did right now. He broke it down. He had offense, defense, quarterback, everything. Good job.
He couldn't wait for Chargers talk.
Look at that. He's been excited. He's excited. Yeah, look at that. You didn't miss much. Braden Hummus is not it. I would agree with that one. The only QB that showed up was Luis Perez. You know, it's funny, Jorge, speaking of that, Luis Perez and I know each other from Chula Vista. So, yeah, we were chatting after the game, and good kid, 100%. AJ, so, okay, I'm just going to go off of what I wrote.
Okay.
So, if you're Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman, there's no way you can think to yourself, this is our backup quarterback. And I'm sorry. And Easton's a nice guy. Like, he looked really frustrated after the game. You could tell. We only lasted 2 minutes with him speaking. Like, that was all. Like, you could just tell he wasn't happy. Rightfully so. But ever since he took over for Justin, it hasn't looked pretty in practice. It hasn't looked pretty in the scrimmages. It hasn't looked pretty in the preseason game. There has not been one positive thing that you could say of Easton being in the game. Now, I don't know if Greg Roman's trying to protect Easton because he told us that it's the same offense like if Justin was in there, which I can't believe that's true because that's not Easton's game. Easton's moving around the pocket, kind of like Caleb, moving around, trying to find a space and then taking off running. But it took you with 5:41 left in the game in the first half to get your first down of the game. That shouldn't be happening. And I wrote about it. I'm like, the problem is that everybody went off of those last 4 games last year. And I don't know how you can go based off of those 4 games. They scored 1 measly touchdown. Take away the Raiders game. The Raiders had already blown them out. And then that's when Easton scored his touchdowns. They had 1 touchdown in the last 3 games. I wrote about this. Cameron Dicker hit 12 field goals in those games. And the games look close. Yes. But the Bills couldn't have taken them seriously. They probably thought, oh, the Chargers will keel over and die. And no, they decided to come out. They played hard for Gift Smith. Credit to them. They took it to the Bills, but there was going to be no competition at the end of the day. They were going to win that game. Then you go over to the Broncos game. That was a terrible game. Easton couldn't really do anything in that game. And then you finally end with the Chiefs game. That was a 13-12 game. So, again, I mentioned in my article, the Cleveland Browns have 4 quarterbacks right now on their roster that the Chargers could easily go get one of those guys. Will they? Who knows? Ryan Tannehill's still out there. Hell, PJ Walker was out there for the Seahawks. He's a guy that they should consider going out and getting. But Easton Stick is just not the backup. And why do I say this? Because you're going to ask if Justin doesn't play, and I think he's going to be out there for the Raider game, but I'm just saying, if he has to miss time at any point, and he's not in there, can you ask Easton Stick to go? Are you guys confident of Easton Stick going in there and saying, oh yeah, I can win this game? No, that's the thing. Easton can't win a game. Like if the Chargers threw out, if it was Easton versus AOC, for the first time in my life, I'd probably choose AOC over another starting quarterback in the NFL. No offense, but because I think it's going to be AOC, bro. Like, even regardless of what happened, I think that's who they're dead set on. But, and here we go with the Kaepernick stuff. Kaepernick hasn't played in like 10 years.
I think Nick is trolling you.
His knees are shot.
Ryan Tannehill. How about Ryan
literally
Tannehill?
and figuratively. But Nick Foles, he just retired. I don't know if he has anything left. I think he used that magic up that one season with the Eagles. But they need to go find a backup. If they have to go eat some W's with Jameis Winston, do something like that. Jorge, stop. As a Philip Rivers. God, Nick. No, I know you're
just naming names of people who are better than Easton Stick.
Hell, then have Jim Harbaugh be player and quarterback or head coach and quarterback. At that point, the dude has cleats on, he has gloves on. But I'm just saying they need to go out and get a backup quarterback that could actually do something. And I feel like Easton's not in. Again, Easton's a good 3rd quarterback to have, that extra guy. But it's just, oh my God, the clipboard Jesus, Charlie Whitehurst. But the Chargers do need to go find themselves a backup quarterback, because even Harbaugh after the game said, yeah, our offense was not good. Like everywhere else, we had good areas. Defense played well. Special teams did well. I feel like Guild kind of gave them a little bit of a juice. But the offense just looked pedestrian. The defense looks, Jesse Minter, and you wrote about him. Jesse Minter looks like he's going to scheme up some fun stuff. And remember, that was just a vanilla preseason game. Like, can you imagine what he's really going to do when the going gets going? So, but yeah, the offense is just, it looks pedestrian.
Yeah, it's a little wild that a month ago we're thinking, okay, what's the defense gonna do to keep up with Justin Herbert on the offense? And Herbert goes down, and then Minter's having these exciting schemes or plays out there for the defense. So it's definitely a flip there, Fernando. Just to kind of throw out another name, Trey Lance didn't look great against the Rams in the preseason game, but he's a 3rd quarterback behind Cooper Rush. Maybe you flip a 6th round or a 7th round pick for Trey Lance to be the backup for Herbert. He'll be better than Easton Stick. I'm just thinking of more guys who are 3rd on the depth chart who could maybe flip for a 7th round pick or something like that. But it's actually another North Dakota State guy, right? Maybe those guys aren't that good from North Dakota State. Shout out to the Bisons there. But to me, that I always go back to, Fernando, he's in year 5, 6. Why does he keep coming back to the Chargers? He has probably the record of most inactive games, and he always finds a way on the roster. I don't think he's ever been a Wade before. Like, I just don't get what they see in Easton Stick. He went from one GM to another GM. from how many coaching staff, Lynn to Staley to Harbaugh. Like for some reason he keeps surviving. I don't know what he has on people, but I should probably tone it down because he's a nice guy. And by the way, one of the times I was at Chargers training camp in El Segundo, he went from the one side of the end where the fans were all the way to the other side of where the fans were and just signed autographs. He's a very nice guy. He just can't cut it as for the backup life. We've seen enough of Easton Stick here, and hopefully for Chargers fans, Justin Herbert is ready to go, but you're always one hit away from having the backup play. And like we saw last year, the second Easton Stick comes into the field, the season's over, especially if Herbert's out for a long period. So they need to come up with another way to find, I don't get why they didn't draft a quarterback when you have a new GM or a new head coach, or find some kind of better plan, because this is one of the worst plans that you could have for a star quarterback going into the season. I think I ranked the backup quarterbacks earlier this season, and I had Easton Stick do that. I had Easton Stick number 30, so it's not good.
So I heard that this is how Jim Harbaugh is going to choose his next quarterback.
To join our team. Oh, there's only one spot open right now, so we're gonna have tryouts.
I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do, but
somebody said Dan Fouts. He was calling the game over the weekend, so why not?
Yeah. Oh my God, you guys are really just like scraping the bottom of the barrel. I saw Drew Brees right now too. Yeah, I don't know. What's Dan Humphries doing
Huntley's one too?
No, that's what I was talking. That's what I wrote about.
Is he with the? Where's he at now? Ravens still? Browns.
No, he's with the Browns. So the Browns have him, Jameis Winston, Deshaun Watson, and Dorian Thompson Robinson.
You could get one.
One of those guys has to be.
PJ Walker would definitely be better.
And that's what I thought. That's what I thought the Chargers were going to do. Or that's what I thought the Browns did when they signed Tyler Huntley. I thought, they're going to try and get somebody to jump up and try and grab one of these guys and trade a draft pick for him. Well, so
that's a good choice by you, because Tyler Huntley came from the Ravens system, and as you know, Chargers.
Yeah, no. I think he'd be solid as a solid backup for them. And who knows, the way Jim Harbaugh kind of does things, maybe he has a package for him. But I mean, why would you want to have Herbert off the field? But in the past,
but just in case he's something happens, just have a good plan. I don't get why teams never have a good backup plan. It worked out for the Bengals when they had Brownie.
That's one of the last things they think about, and it's like, no, you have to have a good backup.
I don't get it. I really don't.
I mean, the Rams have Jimmy Garoppolo, and I mean, you could say whatever you want about Jimmy, and I know Devontae Adams wanted to kill Jimmy Garoppolo and everything, but at least that's a plan.
He's a decent number 2, at least.
Yeah, that's a decent number. He's a real number 2. Yeah, that's what you need, a real number 2.
Suspended for 2 games, but he'll eventually.
Yeah, well, yeah. Like, and I remember Phillip loved Kellen Clemens, and the backup quarterback's always kind of been the best friend of the quarterback. And when Kellen Clemens got let go, when Anthony Lynn came in, I remember some person wasn't too happy about that, but because he brought in Geno Smith and he brought in other guys, so. Definitely some interesting stuff there. Gilbert, the Rams, Stetson Bennett, Jesus almighty, 4 interceptions, but he scores the game-winning touchdown. Just how drunk. So he played the whole game?
Yeah, he played the entire game, and he just kept throwing interception after interception.
By the way, Casey Bauman got released today by the Chargers.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Number 16. Yeah, so he's gone.
The tall guy, right?
Yeah. I
so
think
Luis Perez
left him.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. I think Luis Perez is going for Max Duggan next because that guy has not been good in practice.
Maybe Luis Perez wins the game this year. Who knows? But hopefully it doesn't get to that point. But
I would let him. I'd throw him out there this next game against the Rams and just be like, all right, let's see. Pull what Sean McVay did. Let Luis play the whole game and let's see what it looks like.
Did Easton play the entire game? I forgot. No, he got pulled.
Easton played the first half. Yeah, and then he went, and then he threw a pass where he threw it up to Hayden Hurst, and the safety just comes in and nails him in the knee and flips him, and it was picked off by what's his name? by Kobe Bryant. It was interesting to hear the name Kobe Bryant in LA. Kobe Bryant picked him up, picked him off, and then he almost picked him off again later in the next drive. I was like, Jesus, he almost had two.
Yeah, and real quick before we move on, somebody mentioned Joe Alt in the comments. He had a decent game, but that one rep against Uchenna Wusa was a little bit of an issue there. But it's preseason. That offense made Mike Macdonald's scheme with the Seahawks look very dominant. So, but let's move on from that game.
I can't wait till you see Joe Alt in person. Like, not in person. Like, I mean, when you're interviewing him, like your arm kind of hurts trying to get the microphone all the way up there, or the phone. But yeah.
But positivity. Joe Alt had a decent game besides the one rep against Chenna. But Stetson Bennett did not have a decent day, but then he had that game-winning touchdown. That was such a weird. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Where somebody is like so down on himself, he's beating himself up. 4 interceptions. It's just a terrible game. You want to go home. And credit to the guy, he kept fighting and he got the game-winning touchdown. Saw some pressure, went to his left, threw a dart, and won the game with 4 seconds ago. But on the Rams front, they also have some issues with their backup situation, not as severe as the Chargers, but can you really have Stetson Bennett be your number 2 quarterback for 2 games without Jimmy G, who's suspended? Like, if you're a Rams fan, you're probably thinking, like, okay, Stafford, stay healthy. You do not want to see Stetson Bennett in a regular season game because if this guy's throwing 4 interceptions against second stringers, third stringers, or whatever, it could be a long day. But again, 2 games is not a long stretch. And for the Rams, hopefully Stafford's healthy the entire season, 17 games. But that's why you make an exception for Jimmy G being suspended 2 games, because you can't find backups of that caliber. And we're not trying to praise Jimmy G here, but it's just you can't find guys who are just capable of running an offense and being decent. And number 2, like for real, Fernando, there's probably maybe 14 guys in the NFL playing quarterback that you really like. Like, that's how hard it is to find a franchise quarterback in the NFL. So trying to get a backup is very difficult. I get that for NFL teams, but that's why the Rams made an exception for Jimmy G. Hey, you're suspended. We don't care. We need a backup because it's not going to be Stetson Bennett. But on the positive front, Bennett did have that, kind of fighter mentality to get that game-winning touchdown. When you really look at the whole sample size, it wasn't very good.
If it was that's what I want. Okay, let's do this on Saturday. Easton Stick versus Stetson Bennett. Let's see who comes out victorious out of that. What do you think, Gilbert? Who's your money on?
Sorry, one more time.
Stetson Bennett versus Easton Stick.
That's actually a good question. Man.
Oh, you have to think about it. Oh my God. Yeah, no, they need to.
Well, one wouldn't move the chains, and then the other one will like throw an interception. So I don't know. I think I'd rather get Easton Stick because at least you won't have killer turnovers.
Turn the ball over.
But at least he'll throw a couple of touchdowns. I feel like Stick is like averaging 2 yards per passing attempt and then 8 points per game. I don't know.
Angel, some of the rookies didn't play because they were dealing with some injury. Or sorry, they were going through something. I'm not allowed to speak on anybody's injuries, so I will not. I'm not a doctor or a qualified medical person, but that's why some of these guys didn't play. I didn't really watch the Rams. I wanted to listen to Tom Brady. How do you do?
I didn't hear either. I had no idea he was still on the broadcast, so because I had to watch on the local channel. So maybe the national broadcast had Tom Brady, and I was stuck with Mina Kimes and Siciliano, by the way, and Andrew Woodward. So locally, you did not get Tom Brady, unless that's what I think happened there.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I would have been disappointed if I was you too, because I mean, I didn't see much about Brady, to be honest.
Maybe he was just there to practice, or let us know in the comments if he actually did have a live broadcast.
Yeah, no, maybe it was just practice. Maybe it was just practice, but yeah, you know what's funny? I mean, I'll be at Chargers and Raiders that first game, but I definitely want to hear how Tom Brady sounds in Browns and what is it? Browns and Cowboys. That's the one. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was a practice run. So I did hear. I think I saw that Colin Cowherd said that Tom Brady's been doing a lot of those practice runs at their Fox studios. Like, they watch games on TV or whatever, and he starts narrating them. So it's gonna be interesting to see when he's ready to go and who he is.
He's gonna debut right away on Cowboys and Browns. Okay, why not?
Yeah, I guess so.
And by the way, he was at a country concert. I don't know. I forget the guy's name. It came out with Mike Tyson.
Yeah, it was. What's his name? Morgan Wallen. He was at a Morgan Wallen concert.
I was gonna say
yeah.
Gary Whalen, but isn't it like a former punter or former long snapper?
I don't know, but it was Morgan. It was, and then he was wearing a Max Crosby jersey, and then Max Crosby I think came out too. I think, or he was on stage.
I don't know, but that was cool.
So,
Getting Tom Brady and then Mike Tyson on each side. Okay.
And then I think I saw C.J. Stroud came out with Luke Combs in Houston for his concert.
Man,
so
these country guys are just getting all the NFL players to come out, huh?
I'm telling you, like, I think country's starting to take over the game. These guys are really coming out.
It's like the reggaeton surge of 2016.
Exactly. By the way, you know, it was in Rosarito this weekend. I thought you were going to go Baja Fest.
I don't know. I don't.
You never heard of it? Oh, so a bunch of reggaeton artists go, and it's in Rosarito, and it's like Papas and beer.
I could watch them in the comfort of my car, or I guess
there you go.
Listening in my car.
So it's like a Coachella, but for reggaeton artists, basically. So
yeah, those days are long gone for me.
Yeah, no, Papas and beer and all that. What are other veterans that you're looking for in those two games if Stetson Bennett continues to falter? Jorge, I'm surprised you're a college student. You don't know what Baja Fest is? So what did you think about what James said?
James said, "What other veterans?" I'm guessing for the Rams game or out there for
quarterbacks. No, what? Yeah, what other? Yeah.
I'm trying to think because obviously Sean McVay doesn't like to play his veterans out there, but you know, I'm trying to think. But it was cool to see Jordan.
Kind of a mess, isn't it?
A little bit, but you know, I guess for Sean McVay, it's more about getting those rookies, getting those gems, those young players to produce. It was nice to see Jordan Whittington and Tyler Davis had some good debuts as rookies, but it'd be interesting though if maybe Jimmy G gets a run, but then you don't want to risk him because you need him to be your backup. That's how concerning it is that Stetson Bennett could be your guy, that you don't want Jimmy G to get hurt. So that was actually a very smart decision from Sean McVay to have Stetson Bennett play the entire 4 games. But like, if you're gonna be thrown into the fire and learn from 4 interceptions and deal with that mental burden, like, hey, shout out to McVay for putting that guy through all 4 quarters to learn from his mistakes, and it paid off because he had the game-winning touchdown. But James, like, Sean McVay is such a he has such a strange, or not strange, but unique approach to the preseason where, like, every time they had a kickoff, he told Cardi to kick it in the back of the end zone because he doesn't want to show any designs or play schemes with the new kickoff rule. That's who he is in the preseason. He's not going to show you anything. So it's always tough to kind of gauge Rams players in the preseason. But I thought that was hilarious. Like, I don't want to show anything in the preseason.
Yeah, these veteran coaches don't do anything like that. We need Dan on a country stage. That actually, like,
imagine coming out.
If Luke Combs ever asked him to come out, I think Dan would like get hyped. Like, it'd be like I would equivocate that. I would say that's like Jason Kelsey like coming out. Like, that's how Dan is. Like, that same body build, like same celebrations. Wow, look at Jorge. I'm about to cross back into the States, coming back from Rosarito, but didn't go to party, just went during the day. Is Baja Fest? Is it safe? I mean, I have a lot of friends that go down there and they say it's safe and it's fun, but I mean, I guess it just like depends on what you're down there for in a sense. But if you just go down there for the vibes, I think it's a good time. Literally waiting in the car as you stream. Oh, that's awesome. Are you like in the line? Like, are you in the Sentry, or like do you have or is it like regular border or
sounds like it's waiting in the long line there.
Yeah, I can't do that. I Mother Teresa could ask me and I would be like, yeah, sorry, I can't.
I'm not gonna pick you up.
You have to get down and you have to walk across as I go in through the Sentry.
Maybe do that one time.
Oh yeah, you and Eric. Yeah. That was actually pretty funny. Compas on the beach. But long line. Damn, Jorge, that sucks. Oh, we appreciate you. We're hoping that we make it better for you. But all right, Gilbert, anything? Oh, the Raiders. So what do you make of that?
I don't know. Like, like they had decent performances. It's preseason, but it's like you don't see like a guy pulling away just yet. And it's like I'm starting to lose interest in this quarterback, competition. Like, nobody's excited. At least with some of the other teams, you have a first round prospect you really want to see. But like, I've seen enough of Minshew to know he's going to be a kind of a backyard guy. He might give you some bonehead mistakes here, and it will give you a fighting chance. But you're going to probably end up with 8-9 wins like they did last year with the Colts. And Aiden O'Connell, I get some Raider fans want to push his upside. I don't think the upside is all really there. But if he somehow becomes a guy who could just manage an offense and limit the mistakes, like, he just seems like a more conservative approach. But then, like, when you're just too safe, like, that's going to annoy Devontae Adams. I feel like when you got Brock Bowers and you got Michael Mayer and you got Zamir White, you want to push the ball a little bit. That's why I'd rather go for Gardner Minshew. But I get it. There's some kind of mystery there where you want to see the upside on Aiden O'Connell. Sometimes you do get a 4th round pick or 5th round pick that does something, but we know most players in the NFL, quarterback-wise, the ones that make it are 1st round picks, 2nd round picks. And you do have your Brock Purdy, your Tom Brady every now and then. So I'm not trying to, crush the guy, but I'm just not excited for it. I think the Raiders might be in danger of, wasting a good defense where, you could have maybe got a better quarterback to assist a defense. Like I've seen way too many times, like the Jets are a perfect example. You have a top 10 defense. They're just killing in the first 2 months of the season. They're sometimes they bend, but don't break. They're just stopping after stop after stop. And then by the time November comes around, you get tired of doing the same crap. You got to bail you out again. You want us to do the heavy lifting again. And then the defense starts breaking. And then you end up being 7-11 or 7-10, whatever the heck it is now. And so for the Raiders, they kind of see mediocre land, but it'll be nice if maybe Minshew takes that job to add more excitement, or maybe we're all wrong on Aiden O'Connell and he does more of what he did against the Chargers and the Chiefs.
Delbert is asking, what was your update on the Cardinals?
Yeah, well, that was one of the quickest practices on my camp tour. I feel like I got down there and like 30 minutes later, Jonathan Gannon's like, all right, that's enough there. So I saw one reception from Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray, found them in the back of the end zone. It wasn't the most difficult play, but I think Marvin Harrison Jr. had to break away from his defender, turn his head around real quick before the ball even came out, and he caught it. So that kind of tells you they have good chemistry right there. I am very high on the Cardinals offense because I really like their offensive coordinator, Delbert. Drew Petzing, I think he's on the rise for an offensive play caller. He might even be head coach in the NFL. Like this guy, just talking to him, he got to learn under Kevin Stefanski. He got to learn again under Gary Kubiak, Norv Turner, a bunch of other guys. But he's been around like where he paid his dues, and he really took off last year without Kyler Murray, without Marvin Harrison Jr., and just had the guys compete under the scheme. When that game plan for Joshua Dobbs against the Cowboys was amazing. So he knows how to cook it up. So I'm very excited to see what they do with the healthy Kyler, with Marvin Harrison Jr. being there. You got 2 good tackles in Paris Johnson and Jonah Williams. The interior's a little suspect. If James Conner stays healthy, you have a good rushing attack. You got the rookie Trey Benson. But all the question marks go to the defense and Jonathan Gannon. Do they have enough talent? I don't know if they do, but they might be a little feisty.
Going back to what I said about AOC, I feel like he's going to be the starter just because I feel like the Raiders are going to have him come out there, and they think if we let Minshew start and then we have to bring in AOC, his confidence could be shot. They know that Minshew's been a backup before, but I could see if Tom Telesco wanted to go with the guy that he brought in, the guy that was with Shane Steichen last year, the guy that's proven that, honestly, I didn't think he had a bad season with the Colts. The unfortunate part is I think the Colts should have made the playoffs last year because there were like 1 or 2 games where Minshew just screwed up at the end. And like that game against the Houston Texans at the end of the season, he should have had that one on Saturday Night Football. He should have had that win.
There was a weird fourth down. He kind of overthrew it to the running back. Yeah, but the running back could have caught it too.
Exactly. So there's just like weird stuff that always happens with Minshew like that. But I feel like how they can win, who can they win with more? I think it's going to be Minshew. Who's going to start? I think it's going to be AOC. Do I think Devontae Adams will be on this team halfway through the season? I do not. I'm serious. There's no way you can expect me to believe that Devontae Adams, with all the crap that with all the stuff that's happened, with what you saw on the Netflix thing, with what he says about what he wants this team to be, there's no way you can tell me like at 32 years old, he's going to want to continue doing this and be with Minshew or AOC. There's no way. Like there's a part of me that thinks that he's going to want to be gone. And don't worry, Chargers fans, they're not going to trade him to the Chiefs. So you don't have to worry about him.
There could be a reason why, how Tyreek Hill redid his deal in 2022, Tyreek and Devontae both signed. Tyreek was quick to say to redo mine. You're not hearing that with Devontae because it's not a guarantee he wants to come back. So you might be onto something there. And if we saw what happened in receiver, he got really frustrated. Fernando, but I'll make a prediction here. I say they're going to go back and forth between Minshew and AOC during the season. They're both going to get starts, and it's going to be a headache.
I wish the Raiders were on Hard Knocks. I wish they would do what did he do? What's his name? When he sat down Baker Mayfield and he told him you won the number 2 position. And on Hard Knocks, God, What's his name?
Oh,
He used to be on the
coach?
Bengals.
Yeah,
Hugh Jack. No, not Jackman. Hugh
Jackson?
Douglas. No.
No.
Hugh Douglas used to be for the Falcons.
I think it's
Hugh
Hugh
Jackson.
Jackson.
You're right. Hugh Jackson. Yeah, that I remember when he did that, when he sat down Baker and everybody's like, "What? You're gonna sit him down and let him know that he's the number 2?" But that's just my opinion. But all right, Gilbert, real quick, let's jump over to UFC 305. That's this Saturday. Hopefully, I make it back in time. The game's at 1. Hopefully, I make it back in time to watch the main event. That is Israel Adesanya versus DDP for the middleweight championship of the world. By the way, I heard The Undertaker on Logan Paul's podcast, and he asked him about that entrance. He's like, he could have done a little bit better with it. It was cool. It was awesome. He's like, but he could have done something better with that when he mimicked my entrance. It could have been.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, so
leave that to Taker. Let him do his thing.
I think The Undertaker felt a little. I think The Undertaker was trying to be nice, but I don't think he liked that Adesanya did his entrance, even though it's obviously him paying homage. But Gilbert, in this fight, you are the combat sports expert. Who do you have in this one? Is Adesanya over the hill, or? And we know you and I were both there when DDP was saying all that stuff. We were at was it which UFC was it? 298 when he was kind of talking crap about Adesanya and Adam Hill was like,
yeah, it was like a year ago. Yeah, it was in the summer.
Yeah. 298. So so what do you think? Who takes this one?
Yeah, I wanted to do a quick prediction here because this is the biggest card of the combat sports weekend. There's not really much in boxing, and I haven't gotten around to watch it, but I want people to hear about Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz is an up-and-coming boxer who apparently gave the fight of the year contender, so I got to check that out. But let's highlight UFC 305. And like you mentioned, Fernando, the storyline before was DDP was the challenger. Every time I say DDP, I think about this. Dallas Page. But he was a challenge. He was that too. He was a challenger who kept saying, I want to fight Izzy, and he was a champion. And then things took a turn, and somehow DDP became the champion. He beat Sean Strickland because Sean Strickland beat Izzy. That was also a controversial finish, but somehow here we are. And I always wanted to see these guys fight because of what he was saying, talking trash when we saw him in Las Vegas. And like, okay, where's Adesanya going to go from here? He lost the belt, and here we are today. So he does have some good skills, like you said, Fernando. You didn't think he beat Sean Strickland. I've never been a big Strickland fan, but hey, he got it done against Izzy. So these guys are all beating each other up. That's a beauty of the UFC. But I think, like Jorge is saying, I think Izzy still has plenty left in the tank. He's a young fighter, but also a very seasoned guy. So maybe sometimes that catches up to you. You get a couple L's like he did to lose a belt when he lost to the monster Pereira. But I think Izzy I think he's a better fighter than DDP, but he did surprise me to win that belt. But like you mentioned, it was a little controversial.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't really know who to go because I didn't like DDP against Sean Strickland. They said that he won, but I didn't see it. So I'm gonna go with you guys. I think Adesanya gets this done, especially with all the trash that DDP has been talking. I'm the real African. I'm telling you. I'm hoping that Friday they don't hit each other like when they're actually like doing the face-to-face and something happens. But I think this fight's going to have everything. And I think we're going to get one of those moments. I think it's going to be knockout. And I think whoever knocks the other one out, they're going to stand over the body and kind of look at them and talk crap. So I think we're in for some fireworks with this.
We get some bad blood you want to watch. So that's good.
Hey, are you trying to tease the next WWE pay-per-view? Well, after the Bash in Berlin, it's Bad Blood. So
yeah, is that a new?
It used to be back in the WWF. It used to be Bad Blood. It used to be called Bad Blood, but supposedly that Cody Rhodes was teasing that a lot of hip hop artists might show up to Bad Blood. That they're going to be doing something with hip hop. I'm like,
Atlanta.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what
I do like when they bring back old names, like was it like No Mercy or like No Way Out, things like that.
Yeah. I used to love No Way Out. I thought No Way Out was badass. By the way, I'm really disappointed. I'm not disappointed in WWE. I'm disappointed in the fans. You are the reason why WWE is going, instead of having Survivor Series in LA, they are going to Vancouver. They're seeing that all these international fans are making the cameras tremble when superstars are coming in, when stuff happens. Like, can you imagine if, and I'm sorry, and I thought Cleveland disappointed me a little bit. Can you imagine if that would have had like Baltimore the next night was on fire? Like last Monday, Baltimore had it going. Can you imagine if they would have done Roman's like return in Baltimore or even in Europe? It would have been magical, but whatever. All right. I digress. I'm just I'm really I'm not frustrated. I just think that the fans in the United States need to do better to get this going and have fans excited because sources Lions running back Jamari Gibbs suffers a hamstring injury at practice today. Everybody's dropping. Yeah, I don't know. But all right, let's bring in Vic the producer and talk a little football. Vic, how you doing?
Doing good. Here, let me just change one thing on here. It's kind of bugging me. Here we go. There we go.
That's fine. Yeah.
It's good to be here, guys. How you guys?
Good seeing you, sir. You're wearing a hoodie in the summer.
I know. I had to come in. I got home late today, so I just put in the first thing I saw. So
one of those days where you had like a ketchup stain on your shirt, so you had to wear a hoodie.
Exactly.
I do that pretty often.
Yeah. So if you see me,
by the way, I am so angry that we're trying to make the U.S. Men's basketball team be like underdogs and, oh my God, they got this done. Like, get the flipping hell out of here. Like, they're not underdogs. Like, they almost lost to Serbia because they were lazy.
I honestly that was the first basketball game I've seen in a long time. I did enjoy it, but you're right. You shouldn't be having Steph Curry bail you out against France.
Oh my God. Wembanyama, though. Man, that kid is really
That was
good.
A fun game. It's been a minute for me to watch.
I heard that stooge Nick Wright. He said that if he was the Spurs, he would trade all of his young guys to the Lakers and the Warriors to get Steph Curry and LeBron with Wembanyama. And I'm actually like, damn, that actually would be fun to see, like all three of them. Then you have CP2 there as well, so it'd be fun to see.
He's still playing. Jeez.
Yeah. I think he's going to help Wembanyama a lot, to be honest.
And one thing, speaking of why I don't watch basketball anymore, I think I made the right choice of not watching basketball anymore because all the good players in that game are the old heads. When I used to watch, Steph Curry, KD, and LeBron were still the best players.
Tatum can't even
Anthony.
People were making a big deal out of Tatum not playing. He's like, he's the first.
Step up, kid.
By the way, Tyrese Halliburton, stand up. Did you see?
He knew his role. He knew his role.
I love that. Give me more of that. That's what I want.
Let KD, Steph, and LeBron do the work. Whatever. But if you complain about minutes, go earn the minutes. And I'm like, this is why I don't watch basketball. These kids these days.
Even Gilbert Arenas was saying that Steve Kerr had this was the worst coaching. I was like, they won the gold medal.
I thought that was a good rotation. Anthony Davis was doing all the dirty work. That's why Embiid was on the bench. That's the way it should be. But that's one game I watched. That's my analysis. But I just don't get all the people crying. I keep seeing all these like, oh, why isn't Tatum playing? Like, he won his ring. He's okay.
Yeah. But I will have to split at 55. So So Vic, if I'm ready for this, I'm excited.
All right, let's get started with you then. I want to, you guys, you talked about it. You guys were at Cowboys and Rams joint practice on Thursday where Jerry Jones said there was no urgency to come to terms on an extension with CD Lamb, while the 49ers and Brandon Ayuk situation took a turn last week after Ayuk said no to a trade to the Patriots. So which of these two receiver contract dramas is the bigger mess, and will that affect their team during the season?
So I'm going to go with Brandon Ayuk. Why? Because they are a Super Bowl contender. We all know what the Cowboys are. I'm sorry, but the Cowboys are not a Super Bowl contender. They're probably a playoff contender. They're not even I would pencil them into a playoff spot, but that eraser could come out really quickly. I think Brandon Ayuk, you are really in a way you kind of messed yourself up because you got offered $32 million from the Patriots. You said, no, I'm good. Thank you. Allegedly. And then the only team that you're willing to go for and is willing to trade for you are the Steelers. But then what are you going there for? Like, you don't know. Justin Fields looked bad on Justin Fields did not look good on Saturday, or Friday, whatever the hell that game was. And then Danger Russ. I mean, do you really want to play with Russell Wilson? You have Brock Purdy that you know who you're playing with. Unless you think Brock Purdy is not the guy, then come out and say it. Say, I do not want to play with Brock Purdy anymore. I want to go somewhere else and find something else. There's no team that's going to want trade for you and then give you the bag that you're looking for. You are, and I would never tell anybody what they're worth or whatever, but he should be looking around for like Jalen Waddle style money, like right around that arena. Like you're not in the Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, or any of that conversation. Again, I'm going to go back and I'm going to say you were kind of screwed in the Super Bowl. There were 3 or 4 times where you would have had either a touchdown or a big gain. I remember I watched it back. You were open a lot of the time. I get the frustration, but you guys are on the cusp of potentially being a Super Bowl winner. You guys drafted a receiver. You have Deebo Samuel, you have Christian McCaffrey. You guys still have, and then you have the issue now that he didn't create it, but Trent Williams is now not there. If you don't have Trent Williams and you don't have him, like you're basically like now you're fighting with the Rams and the Cardinals and even the Seahawks. The Cardinals and the Seahawks are a little bit a tier below, but still without Trent Williams and without the Ayuk, it's a terrible situation. But I think Ayuk is the one that is the bigger mess just because you are a Super Bowl contender. You were a couple of missed throws away or misplays away from beating the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the second time you've almost beat them. Now you're kind of at that point where coming back, you might have a strong enough team to be able to go chase that. But Ayuk is obviously the cog that's kind of stopping them. And San Francisco wants a receiver back. They're not going to get a receiver of the caliber of Tyreek Hill. By the way, people saying that Ryan Williams was at Raiders camp the other day, who's his agent, to try and do a trade between Devontae Adams and Brandon Ayuk. I'm like, dude, people are just reaching at this. But my bad. But yeah, that's Brandon Ayuk is my choice.
Before I go to you, Gilbert, I just want to ask you, Fernando, is Ayuk more of a system guy here that's why he's good, or is he an actual legit receiver that should command top tier wide receiver money?
Well, I would never want to put him in a box because we don't know. But the thing is, if I was him, you're not going to find a more receiver unless you're going to Sean McVay's system. You're not finding a more receiver friendly offense than the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, we've all heard what happened with Arthur Smith over in Atlanta when he was the head coach. You've heard some of those stories. Are you really willing to risk to go over there? And then here you're kind of in a sense like receiver one in a sense. Like I get Deebo Samuel is the go-to guy, but they hand it off to him. They do other things with him. You've kind of been that receiver that's kind of made that engine go in a sense. Over here, you're going to be with George Pickens. Do you want to play second fiddle to George Pickens? And I mean, I guess you could say, oh, well, he's playing second fiddle to Deebo Samuel. But no, I think in this system, he works well in the 49er system. I just think it'd be a shame if he left. But to answer your question, I just don't know, because if he gets traded to the Steelers and then he plays bad, then you'd be like, okay, yeah, he's a product of the system. But I think he must think to himself that he might be, and that's why he's kind of trying to cash out before he goes somewhere. And I think they need to work it out, though. I don't like this whole trading thing. They need to work it out.
Gilbert?
Yeah, just to agree with Fernando, and I'll say your line, Fernando, you were so Nick right in a lot of things you said right there. and it's just to put a bow on CeeDee Lamb and the Cowboys. Like the Cowboys, you have no shot at all without CeeDee Lamb. Go get the deal done. I think they will. We can move on from that. Maybe it won't happen in September, whatever.
Oh, and he scrapped everything from his Instagram and Twitter about him being the Cowboys receiver.
Yeah. Then they'll demand the trade, and then eventually they'll get a deal. We know the whole playbook. Yeah, first get them off your social media, and then you make a couple of tweets about it, like subliminal, whatever, and then and then crap like that. Anyways, I'm tired of that. But to answer your question that you just asked, Fernando, Victor, I think Ayuk is a really good wide receiver who's a top 5 route runner, but not top 5 wide receiver. And I'm not trying to bring shade here, but I think Ayuk is one of these guys where he's really good. Like when you think about Keenan Allen and Mike Evans, you never thought that's a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. There were some points where they were really, really that good where you could have a conversation, but I don't think Ayuk is going to be Jefferson. He's not going to be CeeDee Lamb. He's not going to be Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams. So he's like going to be like a top 10 guy, and he's trying to get paid like a top 5 guy. And he probably sees where the quarterback market is. Okay, well, I'm next in line, so you got to pay me like that. No, there's a reason why Jalen Waddle had to take a little pay cut. Well, not really a pay cut, but not be $30 million. Devontae Smith, even Amon-Ra St. Brown to an extent had to take a little bit because you're not Jefferson. The bar was set. You're Justin Jefferson, and he's trying to get as close to that. And then like you're turning down a contract from the Patriots because the money is good, but you're not going to go to a winning franchise. What the hell do you want, man? Like, Are the 49ers giving you peanuts where like that's why you don't want to sign there? Because Fernando, you nailed it there with the Steelers. You don't even have one good quarterback. I don't know what's going to happen with Russell Wilson. I don't know what's going to happen with Justin Fields. The offensive line was pretty bad. It was preseason. I get it. And also, like, when was the last time the Steelers were a Super Bowl contender? Like, they've been playoff contenders, but you've never actually looked at them and say they have a chance to win it because they don't have good offenses. They have good defenses. You have a good coach, but you've been in mediocre land where you find yourself in the wild card every now and then. Like, yeah, you could maybe win there, but you're not going to win a Super Bowl. That's what the 49ers. And if you can't meet the number, then just tell the 49ers, promise me that you're not gonna franchise tag me. I will ball out for you guys. Maybe win the Super Bowl this year. But that way, I hit the open market and I could break the bank and maybe be a Super Bowl champion at the same time. You can have everything you want. The only thing you have to wait a little longer. And also, the 49ers are screwing themselves over by letting Ayuk just pick where he wants to go. You're not a free agent, my guy. You're not also Justin Jefferson. And then you're the 49ers saying, well, we want Amari Cooper back. We want a good wide receiver. Now you're limiting the pool of options here. So I don't know why you're giving all the power to Brandon Ayuk when I just saw the New York Jets. The New York Jets are going to get credit for me, not the 49ers. You tell Hassan Reddick, you better show up to camp. You're not gonna get a trade because everybody wants to demand a trade because nowadays all you got to do is tell the agent to leak it to Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport. I want to trade. The Jets said, refreshing, hey, we're not going to trade or come to camp. Why can't the 49ers do it with Brandon Ayuk? I don't get what they're doing. They're botching the whole thing to me.
Yeah, and I think both teams are at fault here, but I'm talking about when I say both teams, I'm saying the 49ers and Ayuk here because you could have done this before the draft and you could have got yourself some draft picks. Now you're waiting till now, and now you're forcing your hand with his trade demands, and it just looks bad. In terms of, if you've seen the videos from training camp, he's just in a hoodie, he's walking around, he's holding in, and then you're still trying to deal with the whole Trent Williams situation as well, when Trent Williams is your number one guy. Without him, you go nowhere. We know that offensive line outside of Trent Williams is pretty bad, and so I just think that they need to nip this in the bud sooner rather than later. We know what's going to happen with CeeDee Lamb eventually. He's going to get paid. Part of the reason that he's holding out too is because he's still in a rookie contract, and he's not going to get fined because that's under the CBA new rules. You can get back those fines, but if he was a veteran, he would have to do that. So, I mean, like you guys.
And Jerry said he doesn't want him out there just in case if he doesn't get hurt. But how many guys haven't we seen that skip out training camp? They come back and then it takes them a while to kind of get going. So they're playing a dangerous game.
Yep. Fernando, last thing before you go here, just want to say on today's show, you guys talked about backup quarterbacks with the Rams and the Chargers. So losing your starting quarterback during the season isn't ideal. Last season, we saw 66 quarterbacks start a game, which was a NFL record. So I went and I looked at the 12 teams who have the best odds of winning the Super Bowl this season. Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, Lions, 49ers, Eagles, Jets, Cowboys, Ravens, Dolphins, Packers, and Texans. So I'm going to give you their backups real quick. Got Carson Wentz, Mitchell Trubisky, Jake Browning, Hendon Hooker, Joshua Dobbs, Kenny Pickett, Tyrod Taylor, Cooper Rush, Josh Johnson, Mike White, Sean Clifford, and Davis Mills. If one of those teams loses their starting quarterback for any time period, who's in the best position and who's in the best position and who's in the worst position?
Best position, I would go Carson Wentz. You still have Andy Reid. You have the mind of Andy Reid. You can't be that far removed from the guy that maybe Carson Wentz goes here and he kind of revitalizes himself and maybe he gets jump started. But I think with Andy Reid, anything's possible there. So I would go Carson Wentz. The worst, I might go. Probably
I don't even know who Sean Clifford is.
I don't know who that is. So I'm going to go Sean Clifford. Wasn't he from UCLA? Let's see. He was at the Nittany Lions. Oh, that's where I remember him from. Yeah, he
might have been number 31 on my backup quarterback rankings.
Oh, by the way, yeah, that's where I got this question from. Make sure you go and check out Gilbert's backup ranking.
Yeah, so I think I might go with him just because, I mean, I don't know who he is. Naturally, you'd want to go Mitchell Trubisky just because we've seen it, but I'm gonna go Carson Wentz, and I'm gonna go with as the one that could probably win. I'll go with Sean Clifford as for the Packers as the worst position.
Who's Josh Johnson quarterbacking for?
The Ravens.
The Ravens.
Yeah, no. This guy's been like on 20 teams already.
That's another guy that the Chargers could try and trade for. He was with Jim Harbaugh at USD.
Yeah, at least with Sean Clifford, you've never seen him, so maybe it's a mystery. We're like, hey, there's no tape on the guy. With John Johnson, you've seen him on 30 teams, a couple XFL teams, a couple UFL teams, a couple whatever else. AAF teams. So Lamar Jackson hopefully stays healthy, and that hasn't been the case. So what are you doing, Baltimore Ravens? And then my pick for the good quarterback is Jake Browning. He was number 1 on my backup rankings. I thought Jake Browning, I Crow last year. Over Minshew.
Number 2.
Because I've never seen Minshew have the type of stretch that Browning had. And they weren't winning all the games, but like some of these numbers were, I'm not trying to be a numbers guy, but they were similar to Joe Burrow. He was running the scheme, Zach Taylor. He was utilizing Jamar Chase. He was just doing his job and playing at a high level. He outplayed Trevor Lawrence in the Monday Night Football game when Trevor Lawrence got hurt at the end. So he had his moments there.
I'm sorry to bother you, but one of the things I found out just kind of doing some research about why Jake Browning was really good was because he was running their offense, which you couldn't do with Joe Burrow as out of shotgun, and he was getting under center. So I thought that was big. Like Jake Browning getting under center was.
And Joe Mixon started playing better too. So you're right that they were playing
Joe
under
Burrow
center.
Had a hand injury, right? That's why he couldn't get under center.
No, his foot. Remember?
He had the calf.
Oh yeah. I just remember.
He's always getting hurt. Hopefully, he stays healthy this year. But I thought Jake Brown did a nice job. And last year was more like we never seen the guy play. Now we have, and I think that's why I had him, number 1. And that's why I chose Johnson because Clifford, I've never seen him play. I don't want to fall into the trap of Jake Browning, but I don't think it's going to happen again. But give me Clifford or either Johnson or Clifford are the worst, and give me Browning for number 1. But that's a good pick on Wentz, Fernando. I forgot he is playing with the Chiefs coaching staff.
There you go. All right, Fernando, go ahead and close us out.
All right. Again, we appreciate you guys so much for checking out another episode of Compas on the Beat. Again, yes, no Dan and Dago, but we still brought it. We brought the heat. Victor producer, Gilbert Manzano, and myself. Always a lot of fun jumping on. Next week is the 19th. We'll have some UFC stuff. We'll have some WWE stuff. I think even though it's been a week removed, we'll get Gilbert's thoughts on Virgil Ortiz. And I have a couple of boxing questions.
Yeah, I got to watch it again. Or watch it again.
I have a couple of boxing questions. I heard Oscar De La Hoya on an interview this last week. It was about an hour and a half long, and I want to get Gilbert's thoughts on some of the topics that
I want to talk about Canelo and Turkey.
Oh, no, he didn't talk about
that.
Oh, yeah. We got to talk about that. So we'll bring some of that. We'll see if Dan joins us, but if not, the three of us will bring this thing home, and we'll have a lot of fun. As we always do, but make sure you guys are on the lookout, hit the notification button, and make sure we have a cool interview dropping tomorrow. So make sure you guys check that out. It'll be a fun one. So make sure, especially for you fantasy football people, make sure you guys tune in because it's going to be a good one. But again, thank you so much to thank you so much to Senor Vive Moi. Thank you so much to Robert D, Angel, Jorge, who was listening to us from the border. We appreciate that. Robert, Jesse, 619 Cali Factor, who said, he said Ravens flock Super Bowl champions 59. Is that this year?
Yeah,
59.
Oh, wow. Nick, thank you so much. All you guys, thank you so much for jumping on and making this episode a lot of fun, a lot of comments, a lot of fun. Albert, Delbert, all you guys, thank you guys so much. But for the time being, we're going to get out of here, and we'll be back next week. So, Gilbert, ¿sabes qué? Vámonos.
Yeah, let's get out of here. And Angel, I know I was going to get in trouble with this comment, but I said no shade, so don't be too mad at me on that comment about Keenan Allen. But on that note, ya nos vamos, pues.